Hello. Welcome to the Light Language channel. My name is Charlie, and I got a new webcam, and I got one of these things. Yeah, yeah, right? I know. Now I know what you're thinking if you've been here for a while. Charlie, congratulations! You got you got people, you got clients. I did not. No paying clients, but I did just get the internal feels of, you know what? All right, let's do it. Let's at least try to get something better. And as you can see, this Logi HD camera, I am just this white, so that's a little part of it. But this is the camera is a little bit better in general, and audio should be improved. Um, Purposes of this are to swap out something. I mean, yes, but I finally got my new glasses. Um, because what are your glasses breaking but an opportunity to go to the optometrist and find out that your eyesight continues to decline, uh, as it has your entire life, right? So I did, went and got new glasses. It took them 2 weeks for it to come in. Oops, so sorry. um Heard that loud thing. And yeah, it's the changing of the glasses, right? We have like a song like I can't close the whole thing because the side is broken in tape. There I am. Yeah, I like the other ones better. And I don't love glasses that touch any part of my face, but I've got a wide head. I'm one of them. I gotta buy the only glasses I can ever get to fit are glasses that are for men. And yeah, well, I shall get used to these, and so too shall you. And if you look at the yeah, I love that my head is compared to the actual glasses. This is what I mean. I already did it, but this is what I look like without. I do have contacts. I don't really put them in because my eyes give me about 6 hours with contacts before they're like, yeah, we're gonna be bloodshot now. Um, it generally works okay, but the last time that I attempted to just oh, look how clear. Wow. Uh, when you that moment when you put on new glasses and you look at like trees and leaves and you're like, oh right, leaves are supposed to be like crisp to your 2020 visuals, not like slightly blurry, right? Cool. So I need to just look at everything. Hi, this is what you look like from a distance. Cool, cool, cool. Um, yeah, glasses. Also, I'm at the end of the flu, which is always fun to get when it's fun to get some sort of like it's fun to get an illness that you feel like you would only get if you were still working in a school, when you don't even have children in your life right now. Like, ah, but yeah. And as I've gotten over the flu, very interesting observations have happened that I kind of do want to talk about if you yourself are also afflicted with some sort of viral infection. Um, One was the no judgment clause I had with myself when it came to eating. I do have a history of different eating disorders and definitely a lot that I'm working on and clearing up in my own body and mental patterns and things that I grab for when I'm stressed or tired or any emotion, right? Those patterns of I want it, those patterns of this is what will ease. Um, I let those just kind of come out during the flu like worst days of yeah, comfort food. Okay, fine. Found that it wasn't binge eating so much. So still not dealing with a binge eating disorder. Yay. But it was very unhealthy foods in unnecessary quantities, right? I do have a big appetite still. I can still pack it. And then even last night, Randy and I were watching the most recent Abbott, and the 9 and 9 at the ballpark, where it's 9 beers and 9 hot dogs and 9 innings. Uh, Randy and I both, we got to the end of that episode and we were like, I don't like neither of us like beer, and I enjoy hot dogs. He's not a fan, but he was like, I don't even like hot dogs, but watching that made me like made me feel like I want to try it. Um, just evoke some sort of competitive, like, I think I can do that. In our defense, we were both, we had both had a gummy, so we were just in the mood to watch someone eat 9 hot dogs or something. I don't know. But during flu, we have a full like, yeah, I know that healthier foods would help our body, and so we drink as much as we can fluid wise, and we absolutely do like put smoothies in daily to try to just be like, well, here's at least some vegetables that are ground up, right? We're at least doing that. Um, and as I'm coming out of it on Friday, it's now Monday, filming this on October the 20th. But on Friday, I got an internal like, hey, Charlie, what if for the next 7 days you just did a smoothie fast, right? So have your smoothies, have it be whatever plants you can grind up or get in like a pre-done bottle of something, or if you go to a place, get a smooth like, but just plants, just plants. And yeah, not even really like nuts, though. So was asked to basically do plant smoothie, low protein, actually. So low calorie, low protein, just plants and just liquid. Um, I am no stranger to fasting. I've absolutely done it before, but I did it like in childhood, and I always labeled it as part of the eating disorder stuff, which is kind of fair because the thing that got me to do it was eating disorder based as a kid. I literally spent, okay, we're going to talk eating disorders. So, uh, but as a kid, the summer between my sixth and seventh grade year, um, I for August, in June, managed to score tickets to the Backstreet Boys third row. That was a big deal, right? I at the time, so I was like 12. I think I weighed like 275 or so pounds, and I was 5'1". So, um, and that was middle school. So, uh, uh, I did not want them to see me like that. Like just at that size. I was just like, I don't want them to see me like that because I figured third row, they can at least see you. And for some reason, that just really, really mattered. And so it was what I clung to. And I lived in a home where I wasn't really monitored and where taking in food, like meal times, were entirely my own. They had been for a number of years. Um, so I just was like, okay, everyone keeps telling, doctor keeps telling me to stop eating. My mom keeps telling me to stop eating. Everyone keeps telling me to stop eating. So I'll just stop eating. Okay. That is how you lose weight. You just stop eating. Okay. So the first day, I made it almost all the way to the end of the day, but then I did have 2 pieces of bread. The second day, I had an apple. And then by the third day, I was just fine. Now, to be fair, I didn't consider the fact that Surge, the soda, contained calories and only calories, right? So I did drink almost a 2 liter a day of Surge during all of this. So it wasn't like a calorie fast so much, but it was a nutritional fast because all I had was Surge. But from the end of June, or middle of June, I guess I should say, until that concert in August, a little more than a month after, it was basically a 40-day fast. Like I didn't realize that I was doing the Jesus fast at the time, because he also fasted. He would regularly fast, but it's obviously we know this in spiritual communities, like fasting is a thing. And it's so fascinating to look back at your life and be like, huh, because of the multidimensionality of everything. Even though my reasoning behind what got me to fast was lose weight because the Backstreet Boys are going to see me. That was it. That was as far as it went, right? I didn't care about the kids in school. I didn't care about being bullied. Like I did, to the point that in sixth grade, because of something that literally one comment in the lunch line in early sixth grade from one kid I did not know, which was part of the problem. A complete stranger to me, just, excuse me, aren't you a little big for your age? And he joked to his little buddy who mocked and whatever. And so that day I was like, okay, I could probably just not eat. here. Like I don't eat breakfast. I can probably just not eat lunch, just eat when I get just dinner. And so yeah, I from sixth grade through, I did eventually start eating lunch sometimes in senior year, but I just didn't eat at school ever again. Yeah, that's how sensitive I am to like not sensitive to this, but just sensitive to, huh, the only time, like this was early sixth grade, I was like, huh, the only time so far that people have been cruel about my weight who don't know me is with food, is with them seeing me eat. Hmm. Okay. So I'll simply stop. And honestly, I wasn't really bullied to my memory. No, not really. Because it didn't do anything to me. My bullies were at home. And so when I was just existing in this space, that was it. But I had fallen in love with the Backstreet Boys since like the fifth grade. So we're talking like 2 years of fandom, right? Never seen them in person, never been to a concert, scored third row tickets. It was like, okay, all these motherfuckers at school, I don't care about y'all, but these musicians who I kind of listened to it to like help me feel okay in a home that's not okay, right? Like I would go into music just to escape if I needed to. Because when you have a lot of people screaming, if you can just like it's so helpful. And I couldn't do that with screens at the time because we only had the one computer. It was in a common space. Obviously didn't have, things like this. Uh, and didn't have my own safe space with a screen. So I went into a safe space with music. It's kind of the same thing that a lot of like Gen Xers do and older. Millennials, I think, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of us really do turn to music for uplift. I think so, and I hope so. I think that's why some of our contemporaries are so elevated and so popular. Because it's millennial love. It's like, hey, we need you. So we're holding on for parasocial, everything that we can. Um, but yeah, I spent the summer not eating. Um, and what was fascinating was how I didn't have anything else going on. I didn't really have friends, and I didn't have anything else to do. No programs, no whatever. No, absolutely not. So we didn't have money for that. Come on. So yeah, I just didn't eat. And I found that I stayed up all night. I would stay up all night. I would go for a walk in the morning with my mother because that was what she did. And she thought that the walks were why I was losing weight. And then she would go to work and I would just sleep. And I would sleep through the day where I was at home with my father because he did not work. He was on disability. So I'd sleep through the day, wake up in the like early afternoon, and then yeah, I would just have the evening. I would leave my room. I would listen. I would put on my headphones and have my Walkman, and I would just yeah, Walkman CD player. And I would hang out in the living room in the dark because I'm not going to waste the electricity. I didn't need it. And just in the calm of that space, just exist by myself because everybody else was asleep or just gone, like wasn't around, right? And it was amazing. And I'm amazed that I never like took that as more than just in the moment what it was because I didn't then turn into a night owl or anything. I'm still not a person that does things at night for the most part. I'm an early morning, like get up and go. Um, but it was really interesting, just not only the fact that that was sort of how that summer went, but in the lead up to the Backstreet Boys concert, I didn't listen to Backstreet Boys. I listened to Eminem the whole summer, basically. Whichever album it is that does have like the Slim Shady on it, that one. I don't remember what it is, and I don't currently listen to Eminem because it's just not. I I am a Guster and Disney and uh show tunes and recently the like I'm getting this influx of like feminine because I start with Huntrix right like I start there and I let Spotify do whatever it wants and so it's throwing Taylor Swift at me, it's throwing Chappell Roan at me, it's throwing Ava, oh shit, I'm losing what everyone's name is because I genuinely just don't know. I'm very like, no, I have my one. I have this and I have this and I have this. Everyone else do what you want. Right. But yeah, so that's really fun. It's really helpful and really, really nice just a nice way to just I appreciate what we have available to us in terms of kind of healing some of those old wounds, right? I sit alone and kind of take it in. Um, and I say that because look at me for just a minute. Do you or do you not think that I'm a Swiftie? Like, yeah. People in Vegas, when I was there, I was in Las Vegas 2 years ago, having my vow, doing my vow renewal day on my anniversary, my wedding anniversary, the day that Taylor Swift was there having a concert. I did not know she was there. I thought something was happening in Vegas because the prices were really ridiculous for the night for hotel night. It's twice as much, right? Um, I didn't look into why. I didn't look into why at all. And I missed out on like the fact that the fucking Eras tour was happening. So that's unfortunately where it is. I've literally because she's like my age, she's 1 year, I think, younger than me, maybe two. Right, one. Yeah. So like she's a contemporary and it's always been one of those things where I see her and I listen to her songs and I just feel proud. I'm like, yes, get it, keep going. Yes. Like because I grew up with pop stars and grew up with pop stars being a generation older for the most part for me. And so seeing a contemporary like make it and then make it and then make it and then make it, I almost never really wanted to dabble in that particular fandom because I was just like, I just want to be like fan friend for life, right? Like appreciate, but also your rise in popularity is so huge that I just will enjoy it from the side. And then yeah, during just sickness and all kinds of other things, it's so fascinating how my fucking fandom brain works because I watched Taylor Swift on on Late Night with Seth Meyers and watched just to see him get into a jacket after having gone casual. Like he was more put together before COVID, but then like the rest of us, he just went more casual, which I really respected and appreciated. It's one of the reasons I'm such a big fan. That and like, you know, the content of the show, but I just appreciate the groundedness of it and the like, no, you're just gonna see who I am. I'm gonna show up as who I am as much as I can. That's what he does in corrections. And so he's really like facilitated that. But the night I saw that, I was still sick and I was just like, you know what I need? I need an evening of lights out, put the music on, enjoy it. And so I did. And ever since, I've started just having other absolutely fascinating, hi, thank you, absolutely fascinating internal conversations with other. I'm not going to say that doing that kickstarted the internal like divine feminine dragon energy stuff, but the week that I've had since was basically just dragging this, dragging that, dragging that. Like just all of this different stuff in on different platforms in different ways and with different things. And I found that so deeply fascinating. So deeply fascinating that I felt the need to just share. Why am I sharing this? This all feels so this is like personal confessions of someone who's like, hey, I'm a Taylor Swift fan now. Always have been. And not even really going to be talking about that in general. But I think it's really fascinating the silos that we're all kind of in, because we are the silos of fandom, I guess you could call it. And if you really do ritualize and kind of make something that's a fandom you haven't really dabbled in, if you kind of take a fandom that you haven't really dabbled in and make it some sort of sacred ritual for yourself, like yeah, listening to an entire album in the dark, um just because it turns off all your other senses, it's like meditating, right? um Really interesting things, really interesting synchronicities can then kind of come from that. um and this might just be me being like, I'm sorry to everyone who watches this who is a huge Taylor Swift fan who is offended by the fact that, yeah, the first full Taylor Swift album I've ever listened to now is officially The Life of a Showgirl. I am late to that party. Um, and there's literally no, it's just part of an ongoing, how did Ryan Miller say it? He's called it the soundtrack of your life. Because he thanks his fans. He like Guster is such a good group for being fan grateful and chill. Guster fans are chill. I love going to On the Ocean so much. Um, any concert with Guster fans because we're all, I mean, not all, we're not a monolith, but like it's just where it's where chill people who are honestly pretty just physically tired are, but also contemporaries, right? Um, and probably not everybody. There's definitely there's so many people that are always doing all kinds of things. There's always like service projects and like let's all go kayaking, let's all go biking. There's different things. I'm of the like where I am now. I'm of the like harbor cruise. Show up and buy some condensed shampoo and conditioner in a bar in a soap that's specific to Guster. Sure, that's the type of fan I am. And I think I'm just sharing all of this as another permission slip for take your spirituality in a fandom direction, at least every now and then, and just see where you can kind of mix and match some of these, just some of the things that are available to you that aren't constantly, that things that are available to you that aren't a mystery school, that aren't ongoing spiritual content, that aren't you having to like push for anything. It's like these creators are folks who, I mean, they're creating things because they love it and they have to and they're well paid for it, but they're creating big things that have a lot of heart-centered energy around them. And when they resonate with you, just even as a like, yeah, I'm curious about that. When they resonate with you, it's just it's one of those like really magical things happen, right? Like I think about taking trips to different places and like it feels like the thing, right? Go to Egypt, go to Mount Shasta, go to this, go to like these really powerful big spiritual places. But I can honestly say it, when there are, so okay, I'm gonna go back to Vegas for a second. Um, the day of our um the day of our vow renewal was just a literal synchronistically perfect day. It was just a perfect day. And it was a perfect day for me because I was aligned in the same energy that thousands upon thousands of Taylor Swift fans were at the same time in that city. I did not know, but it's it, the act of singing is ancient and spiritual and when you do it in a way that is very heart centered as a group, you're having a moment, you're creating an experience where everyone who can get there, who can open up, and it really is everyone, like you walk into that space, you can't not be like open, right? And I remember the news reports talking about the tour. People would leave and they would say, like, I had a religious experience or I didn't remember it. That's because you were channeling. You were channeling heart-centered, like, ah, and you were in an elevated, like, brainwave wise. I'm like, when can we get institutions and pop culture to do research together, because seriously, I would guarantee you every single person that sings along to your favorite person on stage while you're in harmony and community with everybody around you, you are in a gamma state in your brain. And that is an elevated brainwave state to be. It does impact your body. It impacts things that are happening in your body, and it absolutely can mess with your capacity for memory. Um, it just depends on how often you are in gamma, how often you are in this particular brainwave state. But it is a meditative state. It is a state that I am in when I channel, especially when I channel very high frequency entities from other realms. But doing it in harmony and doing it in group, you kind of create that. Like it's sort of like everyone's vibing on the archangel line when you do that, because it's a very heart-centered line. It's a very I say that just because like I feel into, and I this feels rude to talk about, like it's a public figure, and so I have kind of like I have conversations internally about talking about public figures with the shit that comes through when I'm just pondering. But just like how people channel like Raphael, um, there's archangel energy in okay, fine. There's archangel energy in Taylor Swift songs. Everybody happy? Is everybody happy that Charlie just said that? Can I okay. I get hijacked and then not really, but I get I get basically like, okay, now say it. Um the main energy, it's a collective, but the main energy that I really do feel is Raphael. Um just because of just because of how much Raphael in particular is a fan of music and is a fan of Raphael's a fan of fandom because fandom love is fandom love just is fandom love. Like it's its own level of it is a level of parasocial relationship, but it's almost like it rides on that friend line a little bit. And I would argue true fan versus not, like they're actually like, yeah, they're tiers, right? Like, are you an S tier fan? An S tier fan, in my opinion, is the kind of person who does truly treat whatever an artist makes the same way that they would a friend that they know, where they will take it in and even and basically if they love it, they will be very expression like, oh my God, I love it. And if they don't, they'll just be like, you know what? I'm proud that you tried. And I'm not going to say anything publicly about it to like tarnish anything that's going on, but I'm just proud. I'm proud. I'm proud that this is what came out. I'm proud that this is what you're doing with your life. Like, that's S tier fandom, right? That S tier fandom is I will support you when I can, how I can, and enjoy the fact that there are opportunities for me to share in the fact that this is something that you've been able to fucking create for yourself and all of us. S tier fan, right? Um, and I think that there's merit to taking whatever it is that you can be S tier fandom about and just sort of infusing it with the other things that you love, because you're gonna find if you're actively seeking like channeling archangels, that's what I'm on right now. And I okay, this is for you, the person that's like, I want to channel archangels. That sounds amazing. Cool. Um, maybe listen to Taylor Swift for a while. See if it helps with your channeling. Turn off the lights, listen to an entire album, even if you've already listened to it before, go for it. Um, and then tune in. See if anything comes through. Because your listening music inherently gets you into a gamma state. It helps to kind of open up that heart chakra and entire body. And especially if it's in the dark and you just close your eyes and seriously, if you feel like dancing or moving, that helps too, because it's getting all of the circuitry of your central nervous system aligned, and it can basically be a bridge. Some people will say prayers. Some people like to get into a channeled state with an archangel. Some people do it under the influence of plant medicine. Some people have to travel somewhere so that they can be on a ley line, or they can be on a vortex, or they can be in a port. Like, there are literally some times you have to go to a place and like get reattuned body wise, because your DNA itself is sort of a um there's just little receivers and like transponders in here, and sometimes the Wi-Fi signal is not great, right? Like you gotta go back to where the Wi-Fi signal is better and be like, oh, that's what it is, and then yeah, because you haven't been there in this lifetime. You attuned to it like 50 lifetimes ago, and modern stuff is just it's just interesting. You can have a DNA thing like kind of turned on because you like watched a place, like you saw a picture of it, you got your Akashic record back in tune with it, but you can't, the signal's weak, right? The signal's too weak. You got to like go to a place. Um, so that's apparently my recommendation for whoever you are who came here and are just still watching, but have also been like, thank you for answering that question. You're welcome. Any other questions that would be helpful to be answered? I'm gonna take a sip of some. By the way, I love you and thank you. And also, yes, I have started just telling my water, my drink, that I love it. Um, before I take a sip. Not all the time. It's not like a pattern thing. It's just sort of a like, I feel the urge to do this. Curious. I wonder why. And this is the coaster I've now started putting my water on. It's from Fallout, the video game, right? But like angel numbers, right? Like that's fun. And I'm just like, does it do anything? I feel better. And I only started doing this like I'm doing everything like scientifically. I don't record and document everything. It's just for my own purposes. But um, I've had this coaster for some time. It's just been in the other room, and it's interesting. My husband's the one who actually brought it in here the other day because we were sitting and we were talking and we were drawing and doing some stuff. Um, and yeah, he brought it over, and then it just sat here. And even though I have another coaster that's like a resin poured, like geode, it's cool, right? Like got it at one of those like art places nearby from Kim. Kim Reynolds made this, I think. That's what it says. Always sign your stuff, please. Just in general, please always sign whatever you create so that people who buy it can always look at it later and go, "What's this again? I'm sorry, I don't remember your name." Um, that's for somebody. But because of what just for the properties of water themselves, I was just curious. I was like, what happens if, like, I know that these numbers like do something to me mentally when I see them. I'm like, ooh, fun. And that like, ooh, fun changes brain state stuff. It changes heart coherence stuff. I was like, what happens? What happens if my water is on 111? What happens if my glass is on there? What happens if I say, I love you and I drink? Am I drinking my own love? It seems stupid, but like, it seems stupid to me, even though it is a completely like normal practice for a lot of other people who just have the lived experience and the research of things that I don't have, but I keep like playing with, even though I don't have a background or understanding as to where it's sort of coming from. But what I do know is that now I just want to like sign. I want like a massive micro. I want like one of those atom microscopes, and I want to just be like, all right, what happens to my drink depending on where things go? Does anything happen? All the scientifically like unnecessary things that I know other people have done that I could research and I don't, because I'm just trying to play with what works for me, not necessarily get um, confirmation from others anyway until I've at least played with it myself. Because I'm in this flux and I'm in this pivot period for myself where everything inside has changed. The external is still stagnant, we could call it. Um, yes, and Mabel's telling me that it's time to wrap this up, which I'm going to do. Thank you so much for watching and just me talk about my recommendations for biggest pop star. Like listen to the biggest pop star in the world, guys. Wow. Thank you, Charlie. Never would have thought of that. Valid. Um, and we're supposed to say experiment with what has worked in your experiment with the things that come up from your own past, like memories start to come up, right? Um, because I really and truly am sad about the fact that for it was 40 days. It really was. I fucking fasted for 40 days as a kid, not recognizing that it was fasting that I was doing. Um, because I just thought like I just keep doing it. I just keep doing it. I just keep doing it. And my adult brain, like I look at it and I feel, adult brain looks back and is like, oh, that poor child. And I'm like, oh, I was no, there was other things that I was doing during that time. I was getting a reset. I was getting a break. I was getting a break from my fucking family because I got to sleep. I got to sleep through the day. I didn't have to deal with my brother. Didn't have to deal with my dad. Didn't have to deal with my mom in like the evenings, right? But then the night was mine, and it was just this. It's just interesting how that all played out, and the concert was fun. I do remember the concert very well. I don't have a lot of memories from a lot of things in childhood. That concert, it was good. They put on a good show. Um, We're talking like literally suspended above you levels of stuff. And especially in the 90s, I've never seen a show like that. Like I have been correct. This is the most amazing. These are the most amazing performers I have ever seen. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. I owned two CDs in the 90s because I couldn't afford more. Backstreet Boys and the Titanic soundtrack. Um, yeah. So I don't know what I'm that came up because something from your like age 12 pantry is either actively pursuing you right now or has maybe been trying to, has been trying to. You haven't been listening. Okay. Well, since you watched this video, I'm sorry to tell you, but you probably just got triggered into some sort of memory retrieval response for your own, if not age 12, just your own, like, I look back and maybe actually there's a different perspective that I have on something that I did that used to, that it's time for a perspective shift on something that you thought you knew about what was happening and why. Because for me, that was just a run of the mill childhood initiation period of 40-day fast will help to reset some things and you'll be able to use that time to decompress and realign with some things and get ready for what will be coming next for you. And that was the first time I'd done it. And yes, no one in my life thought that a 12-year-old losing 50 pounds in like a month was problematic. They all celebrated it. So uh so at least the energy around it was good, if a little intentionally misinformed, right? There were some initiation things that I had to go through as a kid because I wouldn't have really been able to do it as an adult without just without more stuff kind of in the way, and also just personal preference. I've had my guides ask me, they're like, how does 7 days feel for a fast where I'm still taking in plant-based material? My response to that is, I'm good for a week, but don't make me like don't ask me to do this for 40 days. Like, I'm not interested. I don't want to do this for 40 days. I don't want to do the full fast, which is water for 40. Like, no, no. I've lived too much. I don't want to do that. Help me find a way to like do anything else, right? And that's kind of the response that I've gotten is, yeah, we agree. Like we agree and we understand. But that doesn't mean that there aren't still things to play with and things to experiment with. And really and truly, the whole point for the plant-based cleanse at the end of the flu, especially after I've been eating a bunch of garbage, is because my body, like, fat cells, they shrink. They don't really go away. They will eventually, your body will eventually recycle them and kind of move them out, but not in the span of like a month, right? They just shrink. And so I'd been doing, before getting sick, this is why I always get so frustrated because whenever you start a new workout thing and then you get like sick and you're like, I spent 3 weeks doing immaculately and now I'm sick and I'm going to lose all my progress, right? Because I got sick, got the urges to eat as much as I could and take those fat cells that had shrunk and are little shriveled little grape, little raisins, and made them big plump grapes with the amount of just carbs and salt and fats and just excess calories, right? Heavy on the ice cream, right? That kind of thing. Um, so being all plump and like full of water and everything else, there's been a place for all of that. As my body has told me, place for all of the viral infection to kind of hang out in the new fat condos, right? Um, and this action of a fast, it's not really a fast, but a fast from solid foods is not only going to help with just digestion stuff, because when you have a viral infection, your digestion, a lot goes on there, a whole lot goes on there. So this is just kind of to ease all of that and to provide the entirety of my body with a full week-long break from meat, which is kind of harder for my body to process. That's a thing that they have told me over and over and over again. And given how many times I've like done the vegan thing, it kind of makes sense. And that the just purging of all of it is going to be what sort of helps to release and get rid of just a lot all at once, just sort of a whoosh, um, which helps and just aids in recovery and aids in sort of everything that's sort of happening. And so my human timer has gone off. It's time for me to end. So I'll stop it here. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you are healthy. And if you're not, some plants and see what happens.